Welcome to the Smiles Are Wild channel, brought to you by Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics. My name is Amy Morgan. We will be bringing you fun and educational videos weekly to help you take better care of your child's oral health care needs at home and on the go. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to see all of our new videos. And remember, it doesn't really matter how you take care of your teeth as long as you take care of them from the beginning. So, a little background here. Every month we try to get together and figure out what we're going to talk about, what holidays line up with what. And we try to bring you a lot of information that is not necessarily dental or oral health care related. So when we were talking about that National Coffee Day was coming up, we thought what a perfect way to kind of introduce and give some tips for all of you tired mamas, dads, grandmas, caregivers, everyone out there. So with that in mind, I knew the exact person that I needed to bring on, and I call her my own personal chaos coordinator. She is the one who I call when I need to iron things out or get like the checklist going. She also was my wedding planner, my wedding coordinator. So I'm going to introduce her now on screen. We're coming on. Miss Kanya Carlson, there you are.
Hello,
everybody.
Hi.
All right, we can hear you. Yay. Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over some tips. So some of these tips may be like really quick hitters, like that are just, it's very simple, doesn't need a lot of explanation. And one of the reasons why I brought Kanya on here is because she is the encourager in my life and in a lot of other people's lives. And so when we get to this whole like take care of yourself thing, like she's got it nailed down. So we're going to go ahead and start. Again, some of these may just be like quick to-dos, and some may be more like, hey, you really need to start taking care of yourself, and here's how. Because if we cannot show up for ourselves, how are we supposed to show up for our family and our friends who we want to love on when we're not doing that for ourselves? So, Kanya, I'm going to actually let you start, and why don't you give us one of your ways that we can take care of ourselves?
Okay, well, I am a busy mom of 4. I run a children's ministry in the area. I wear some other hats as well. Wife, taxi driver, all the things. So, moms, you can't always do all the things in one day. And so, one of the things that I call outsourcing is beneficial for you. And by that, I mean drive through the drive through and pick up dinner. You don't have to have a home cooked meal every single night. It's okay to drive through the drive-through or pick up frozen pizzas and pop them in the oven. If you like your house immaculate and there's not enough time in the day and you recognize that, get yourself a house cleaner. Yes, financially that may not be suitable, but if you can, even once a month, to have your entire house clean all at once, bless. That will relieve a lot of the mental clutter and the mental capacity that you're expending trying to do all the things in your home, and allow more time for you to spend with your family, with your husband, with your friends, and for yourself. And if you have children, we're talking to you mamas, you do have children, get a babysitter every now and then. Even if it's in the middle of the day from like 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, if you need to do errands, run errands, go have a lunch date for yourself, there's zero guilt in getting a babysitter to outsource that care of your children. Outsourcing is my biggest, I joke about it because I'm like, oh, we're outsourcing that. We're driving through McDonald's. But seriously, it relieves so much mental capacity to be okay with somebody else doing for you.
Yeah, so I totally agree with that. And I think too, just as moms, which I know if Kanya and I lived closer to each other, we would totally do this. But, you know, a sitter and things like that may not also be in the budget. Like you may not be able to pay somebody, but trade with another mom. Like one week, say, you know, I can watch your kids from 1 to 3 today. And then on Thursday, can you watch my kids from 1 to 3? You know, be able to trade that time out, because it's also your kids will get playtime out of the same thing. So it's, you know, it's a 2-for-1 situation, but just don't be afraid to ask for help, but also don't be afraid to, like she's saying, outsource that situation. Sometimes McDonald's just has to happen. And I'm just saying their spicy McNuggets are delicious. Just saying. All right. So then number 2, I'm going to kind of go over just something that I like to personally do, which is kind of a wind down situation. So something I had noticed in the past is to enable myself to get more rest. I've got to put my phone down and start getting rid of the distractions early, because I'm no good to anybody if I am tired. So one of the things that I have started doing is trying to read more. And that gets me off of my phone, gets my eyes rested, things like that. I've started having to read to wear readers all the time. So if I don't want to necessarily get into a book, like if you think a book is too much of a commitment. Now, I love a good book. I'm not saying that I don't, but let's just say one night you're like, I don't really feel like getting that book out, or you just finished a book and you don't have that option. I recommend trying out with just magazines. So even just a magazine at your bedside is something for you to take your mind off of your phone, off of all the distractions, and kind of just let your mind rest. So that's one way that I do that, is by always having a book and a magazine on my bedside. But more often than not, I'm going to that magazine because it's a short, quick fix, and then I can rest my eyes and I can go to bed. And that just goes along with, getting rest, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, drinking lots of water, taking any supplements that you might need to be taking, just making sure that you're taking care of your health will also help out with your tiredness. And then what else, Kanya, do you have for us?
Well, I'm going to latch onto that because I think like our parents even, that was their scrolling mindless on Facebook, was thumbing through a magazine, because it's short, sweet, and to the point. There's things that you can look at, you can bypass it, you can keep on reading. It's kind of at your disclosure, but you're releasing that screen time for you that kind of keeps your brain going in the way that it affects your sleep. And so I think that's a brilliant idea. I don't do that. I scroll mindlessly, but I might stick a magazine on my bedside table now, because and I love the crosswords at the end. Such a novelty. Nobody does that anymore. But
I agree.
I think one thing as moms, we need to let go of the expectations that we're putting on ourselves. There's no trophy. There's no medal. You don't have to have your kid's lunch packed in this bento box and in cutout stars. You know who sees that? Unless you post it on social media? Your kid. Your kid already loves you. They love your peanut butter and jelly. They love your grapes that aren't cut in fantastic little shapes and prizes and all the things. There's no prize or trophy for motherhood. There should be, but there's not. So you don't have to hold on to these unsaid expectations that you're holding on to. So like your house has to be a certain way. Your friends love you and they want to be with you. They're not here because your house is clean or a certain way. And also, you don't have to have all your ducks in a row. People love the real you. When you show your mess and you show your junk, that's the vulnerability that people love about you. And so if your ducks aren't all in a row, that's okay. You know what? Maybe your friend's going to help you, and that allows them to be a blessing to you, to serve you in that way. Your kids just need you. They don't need all the fluff and stuff that we think we have to do, all the extras that we think we have to put on. You have to have your hair immaculate for your kids or your husband. Like, you just have to be you. These expectations aren't earning you a trophy. They're making you tired. And also, can we allow some grace for ourselves? Because you only have 24 hours in a day, and everyone does. Some of us are more meticulous and we make a list and we get it done. And some of us might be procrastinators. And we have the list, but this needs to be done, that needs to be done, this needs to be done. And then we get to the end of the day and our list is still so long. Listen, you do what you can and the rest can wait. And that is okay. Grace for those things. Get rid of your clutter also. Speaking of like clutter and stuff, like one thing I just told a friend of mine, I was like, listen, if you have all this clutter in your space that you're in, you don't realize the mental space it takes up in your brain, that's always sitting over there needing to be done. And so every now and then, just go through the junk drawer, go through your kid's closet, go through the toy bins. Doesn't have to be every day. That may seem daunting to some of you. And if that makes you tired, don't do that. But if the clutter is making you tired, you're going to have to eventually face those in your downtime sometime. It's going to be the work, but the work is worth it in the end when you let go of all that clutter. So expectations and clutter.
Man, you hit that right on the head. I laugh because I'm also a procrastinator, and I think I'm a really good procrastinator, but I'm not. And then that kind of leads into a little bit of the things like we were talking about, outsourcing and things like that. One of the ways that you can kind of prepare for that is also, you hear this all the time, is the meal plan. And I know we hear that a lot and we see it a lot, and I'm only saying it not to like put pressure on anybody to start meal planning or do anything, but maybe you thought that system would work for you, but you never got to it. So this is just a friendly reminder that if you literally want to just go take your Monday through Friday and say, okay, on these days, this is what we're doing, and this is the meal that we're going to cook, then that's great. If you write in McDonald's Mondays, that's totally okay too. Like, I mean, that is totally fine. I'm not going to lie. We do Taco Tuesdays. No, we don't make the tacos. We literally go somewhere and get our favorite tacos. It's totally a thing. So you can make it fun with your kids. You can make it fun with your family. Include them in the meal planning. What was your favorite meal that you've had recently? Let's put that on the menu for you. If their name starts with the first letter of the first day of the week, it can be their day or whatever. You can come up with these ways to be creative with your family. But I just think meal planning is one of the things that's really worked for my family. But it may or may not work for you. You can search. I could give you a whole list of what you could do, but you can also just go search the internet for meal planning, and there'll be a million ways to do it. Okay. And then another thing that I just want to touch base on is to let your devices work for you. So most people, I shouldn't say most, some people in their homes have some kind of home smart system. So an Amazon Echo, an Alexa, a Google Home, an Apple Home, any of those things. We have iPhones, we have tablets galore, we have Apple Watches, all these things. Use those things to your advantage. One thing that we do at our house is we gave the kids Echoes for Christmas one year. So Amazon had a huge sale. They were like $20. We put an Echo in each one of their rooms, and we set their alarms for in the morning. And then we have access on our phones to take care of that. So we set their wake up alarms, but we also set reminders for in the evenings and for nap times. So for our older kids, we do a quiet time. So at 2 p.m. every single day, even on the weekends, it goes off. And if we're home, then they have to go take an hour of quiet time. At bedtime routine for our kids, they are older, starts at 8 p.m. At 8 p.m., it reminds them to start cleaning their room. At 8:30, it reminds them to brush their teeth, take a shower, get everything prepped for the next day. And then at 9 p.m., it reminds them that it's time to go to bed. This takes a lot of the pressure off of me so that I'm not looking at the clock at 9:15 and like, oh my goodness, they should already be in bed. This really helps with me not having to worry about one more thing. So just use your devices to your advantage. Anything that you know is a routine time that you need something done, set a timer for it. Even if the timer is only on your device and you're the only one hearing it, at least it will remind you. With your older kids, you can set that up so that those devices are also reminding them, which then helps them to get into the routine of staying on time and staying on task with things. Kanya, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I just had one more thing I wanted to talk about that I think is really big in the mom world, and that's the mom guilt that we hold on to. We do for others so much, even more than just our kids. Like we do for the schools, we do for churches, we do for businesses, we're doing bake off things, like all the things. And then we have this mom guilt that, oh, I'm not doing enough, or I forgot that I was supposed to volunteer for that. I didn't volunteer for this. I didn't bring snacks for soccer, and I didn't do all the things. Stop focusing on what you didn't do and focus on the positive for one, but then also let go of that mom guilt. That mom guilt is exhausting. Being a mom is exhausting, but it doesn't have to be if you just release that guilt. Do some self-care, because you can't, like they say, like you can't pour from an empty cup. And as moms, we tend to give and give and give of ourselves. We have Amy,
okay.
Can you hear me?
We're back.
Sorry.
We're back. You did good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Sorry. My phone went off. I apologize. We have to release that mom guilt because it's exhausting being a mom, and it's okay to have some self-care. And so what that can look like is find the time to fit in that workout if that's what you need. Find the time to take a nap if that's what you need. Read the book. Find time to meal plan because it's going to release your mental capacity for later in the week. Plan now to not have to do something later. You can actually make sure you're eating. Sometimes I can remember in the toddler years when my kids were much smaller, I'm like, did I even eat today? Take care of you. You literally cannot function that way. You go fill up the bubble bath and shut the doors and let dad or grandma or someone else man the children at bedtime so you can just have a bubble bath, not at 11 o'clock at night. Go on a girls' weekend and have zero guilt about it. do it. Just do the things that you need to do. Now, I'm not saying leave your kids and run wild. I'm just saying that taking an hour, taking a weekend, taking whatever time you need to refresh and recharge and be the best you is what your kids need too.
I think that's perfect. I think that's really good. I think for a lot of us, we just get so caught up in not wanting to leave our children behind and all of that. And what we don't realize is that by continuing to not fill up our cup, like you said, we're just depleted. I mean, I like to call these certain things my non-negotiables. Like there are things that I say to myself, like today I will exercise, I will eat right, I will make sure I'm taking my supplements and drinking my water. Like those things for me are the non-negotiables that I have to do for myself so that I'm there to take care of my family. Now, one other thing we want to kind of go over is that we know that these times right now are super crazy. So we know that you're in school, you're out of school, now you're at home because you're in quarantine, and now you're homeschooling because this has happened, or you've chosen to homeschool, or whatever. There's just a lot more stuff going on at home from the educational standpoint. So, one tip that we did find is to go ahead and make sure that their homework is all done first. So, let's say that you have older children that are at home and maybe they're old enough to stay home, but you still need to do some check in and make sure they're doing your homework. That's the first thing you do when you see them. So, when you're seeing them for that day, for example, when I see my son after football practice, I always say, "What homework do you have? Let's sit down and let's figure that out." And the best way to do that is not only to check on it, but also have a space for that. Have a dedicated space. Even you don't have to have a desk. It can be the coffee table, it could be the kitchen table, but just make it the space where they can be there. There's not a lot of distractions, and they can do that. There's also for younger kids, it says to keep a fully stocked homework station. And so that would be like running out now while Walmart is like got school supplies galore, and making sure that you have crayons, pencils, a ruler, those things. I bet you could stock something for like $5 right now. I mean, you can totally get those little things that they would need and just have those in a little basket somewhere near where they're handy for them to find. So they're not having to go and dig in the bottom of their backpack or go out in the car and find whatever. Like have something at home that they can take care of. I do have, a really fun announcement to make. I want to make sure that Kanya has completed all of her lists, that she doesn't want to go over anything else.
No, I think most of my tips for being not tired is it starts with you and taking care of yourself, and just knowing like when you can't do something, and that's okay, and to ask for help, that's okay. And if you need to do something differently and back up and punt, it's okay. You're going to have to release some of the control that we put on ourselves to do all the things all the time and be everyone's everything. And it's okay to not do that.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I brought Kanya Carlson on the feed today. Kanya, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I am going to let you go so you can go take care of the kiddos and do what you need to do while the other one is napping. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. Bye, Kanya. All right. So now the one and thing that most people have been waiting on, besides from the Kanya Carlson, is we are going to announce what we are doing for our giveaway. So within these tips, we've given you some information that you can use. So we've given you ways to organize, ways to kind of take care of things. And this is leading into one of my most favorite things right now, which is a show on Netflix called The Home Edit. If you haven't watched it yet, you should really go watch it. It will sort of make you feel guilty, but then it'll give you like a little fire under your booty and make sure that you're taking care of things. And you want to organize all the things at this point. And then you're kind of paralyzed because you're like, man, how am I supposed to do that? Well, we have something for you. So our contest, we are doing a giveaway, and all you have to do is like, love, or wow this video in your feed. So go ahead and hit the like button. We prefer if you hit the love or the wow if you can. And then share this video to your feed, and then tag other tired mamas, daddies, grandmothers, caregivers, your friends, anybody, because we are giving away not only the new Home Edit book. So they have books that just came out in the middle of September. So this is the Home Edit Life that just came out, and we have a couple of copies of this to give away. It's beautiful, as you can see. It's like rainbow colored. They're known for organizing things in a rainbow. Super fun book. It's fun for your coffee table, but it's also got a lot of useful information. And then before that, they had another book just called The Home Edit, which we also have a few copies of that we're going to give away. And then most recently, with their new show and with all of their organizational skills, the ladies from The Home Edit have a new line of products that are available at the Container Store. So we are giving away a $200 gift card to the Container Store. And then we're also going to do $100 to Target, because who doesn't need organizational things from Target or a new outfit? Just saying. And then you need a lot of energy to do that. So we're going to give you a $50 gift card to 7 Brew. And then we're going to track back just a little bit into our talk where I talked about how you can read magazines instead of books. And of course, we had to go out and get some new magazines. And we went with one of our favorites, which is from the ladies at Whoa Wait Walmart. If you are not following them on Instagram, or you really should be, it's just how it's spelled here, Whoa Wait Walmart. And they have all kinds of finds. They do lots of home decor, clothes, all the things. You can check them out. But we have their newest issue of their magazine. And then we also have additional magazines, Magnolia Home, some Real Simple, some brain teasers, some stuff for Halloween tips and tricks. But we just thought this would be a really fun giveaway. So what we're going to do is we're going to tally all of the comments. We're going to tally all of the likes, all of the shares, all of the loves, all the wows, all the tags. You can tag as many people as you want to. And then within about a week, I'll have the actual final date up soon. We'll do a drawing for that. So we're super excited. This is retail to be over almost $400. So share it with your friends, share the love. We do have a couple of copies of the book. So if you win the total prize package, then somebody that you tagged could possibly win another set of the books. So you should really get into that. Let us know if you have any questions or, concerns about what we talked about today. Also, don't forget that with today being National Coffee Day, we want to know how you order your coffee or where you get your coffee from. So mine will be in the comments here in just a little bit. And mine is, I consider my coffee order super extra, but not everyone is as complicated as me. But we would love to know that. Just kind of share your coffee orders so that everybody can try something new. And as usual, I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank Kanya for joining us today. And we hope to see you again next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and go visit us on smilesarwild.com.